Cinema is more than just entertainment. It is a powerful form of storytelling, one that has shaped cultures, inspired revolutions, and pushed the boundaries of human imagination. From the flickering shadows of early silent films to the stunning digital landscapes of today, the history of filmmaking is a story of constant evolution, technical innovation, and artistic brilliance. But how did we get here? How did moving pictures transform from a novelty into the multi-billion-dollar industry that dominates the world today? In this documentary, we will take you on a journey through time, exploring the birth of cinema, the rise of Hollywood, the revolutionary changes in storytelling and technology, and the industry-shifting effects of the digital revolution. If you are passionate about filmmaking, check out the links in the description below. We have included books on film history, filmmaking gear, and classic movie collections, all available through Amazon affiliates. Every purchase helps support this channel and keeps documentaries like this coming. Before Hollywood, before studios, before movie stars, there was only the dream of capturing motion itself. In the late 19th century, pioneers like the Lumiere brothers and Thomas Edison developed the first motion picture cameras. Their silent, black and white films, often just a few seconds long, were a spectacle of their time. Crowds gathered to watch trains arriving, workers leaving factories, and everyday life flickering to life on screen. But soon, filmmakers realized that film could be more than just moving pictures. It could be a way to tell stories. With directors like Georges Méliès experimenting with special effects and narrative storytelling, the foundations of cinema were set. Films like A Trip to the Moon in 1902 introduced audiences to the power of imagination on screen. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, Hollywood was rising. The warm climate, diverse landscapes, and cheap land made California the perfect location for filmmaking, and by the 1920s, the first studios, Paramount, Warner Brothers, and MGM, were already dominating the industry. Silent films became longer, actors became stars, and directors like Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton turned movies into an art form. But everything was about to change with one revolutionary invention: sound. In 1927, the jazz singer shocked audiences. It wasn't just a silent movie with music, but a film where actors actually spoke. The age of silent films was over. Studios rushed to adapt, and soon, Hollywood entered its golden age. The 1930s and 40s saw the rise of legendary directors like Alfred Hitchcock, Orson Welles, and Frank Capra. Color films like The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind dazzled audiences during World War II. Movies also became a tool for propaganda, inspiring both hope and nationalism. Hollywood had solidified itself as the center of global filmmaking, but the industry would soon face a new wave of challenges and artistic revolutions. The 1950s and 60s saw a rebellion against traditional storytelling. In France, the French New Wave rejected Hollywood's structured narratives, favoring raw, experimental filmmaking. Directors like Jean-Luc Godard and François Truffaut brought jump cuts, handheld cameras, and real-life. In Hollywood, Alfred Hitchcock mastered suspense, while Stanley Kubrick and Francis Ford Coppola pushed the boundaries of filmmaking. The 1970s saw the rise of the new Hollywood era, with films like The Godfather, Taxi Driver, and Apocalypse Now redefining what cinema could be. But no one could predict what was coming next: the rise of the blockbuster. In 1975, Steven Spielberg's Jaws changed everything. It was the first modern blockbuster, a film marketed on a massive scale, drawing crowds worldwide. Just 2 years later, George Lucas revolutionized cinema again with Star Wars, a sci-fi epic that introduced the concept of franchise filmmaking. The 1980s and 90s saw the rise of visual effects, from James Cameron's Terminator 2 to the groundbreaking CGI of Jurassic Park. But while Hollywood was thriving, a new technological revolution was about to shake the industry: the arrival of digital filmmaking and the internet. With the rise of computers and digital cameras, filmmaking became more accessible than ever. Directors like Peter Jackson and Christopher Nolan pushed CGI to its limits, while indie filmmakers used digital tools to tell stories without big budgets. Then came streaming. Netflix, YouTube, and Disney Plus changed how audiences consumed movies. Theaters no longer had a monopoly. Now, a film could reach millions from a laptop or phone. AI-generated effects, virtual production techniques like The Mandalorian's LED sets, and the rise of user-generated content on platforms like TikTok signaled a new age of storytelling. But despite all these changes, one thing remains: our love for movies. Cinema has come a long way, from flickering silent reels to massive CGI spectacles. But no matter how technology evolves, one thing will always remain at the heart of filmmaking: storytelling. Whether it's a classic black and white film, a Hollywood blockbuster, or an indie project shot on an iPhone, the magic of cinema is timeless. So what's next for filmmaking? Will AI-generated films take over? Will virtual reality change the way we watch movies? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: cinema is here to stay.